Hi everyone, this is Korean. I am back with another episode of our last week in DeFi show of the Inside Crypto podcast. It's good to be back. It's good to be talking about DeFi, and as you can see on the DeFi Index token page, right, we see double digits gains, green everywhere. Much different from the last time we did an episode. We can even see the discount rate at the moment, 7.14%. Total market cap is up, $312,000. So things are looking good. And today, as usual, we can talk about the news of the constituents. And let's start. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is Loopring. So Loopring, this has been on Google News, or I forgot, is this called Apple News on Apple? But you would have seen this for sure, is that GameStop, right, the North American game retailer. If you've lived in America, or I don't know if they have GameStop in Canada or not, but if you lived in America, at one point or another, you would have been to a GameStop. When I was living in America back in the day, GameStop was the place you went to buy games, like the physical copies, not like now where on your Switch, on your computer, right, you go to Steam, on your Switch, you go to Nintendo Online. There are still people who buy physical copies of stuff, but those are the collectors. So GameStop's business has not been doing great. You've also heard of GameStop probably because of the Wall Street Bets guys, the guys who drove the price up on GameStop and AMC as well. So this is what GameStop is at the moment, selling games, selling consoles, selling figurines and other technology and stuff. Lots of cool stuff available. But the very interesting thing about GameStop is going to be doing an NFT marketplace. They've hopped on the NFT bandwagon, and bandwagon sounds bad because actually it isn't a bandwagon. I think NFTs definitely have a role to play, but GameStop is getting into them, and they are getting into them with the first constituent of our DeFi token. And here it is in a Medium blog post over here. It says, "We're thrilled to see that the GameStop NFT marketplace has taken its first steps to welcome users and build atop Loopring." So NFTs are widely becoming a foundational piece. In order to return power to the players, access needs to be fast, cheap, and secure for the masses. GameStop, in partnership with Loopring, has the opportunity to cement itself at the forefront of this new paradigm and become the destination for global digital economies. To accomplish this, the new marketplace built atop Loopring L2 ensures that users receive strongest digital property rights anchored by secure, decentralized, and credibly neutral environment like Ethereum. Loopring ZK Rollup inherits Ethereum's self-custodial security while abstracting away costly gas. If you're not new to Ethereum, basically these are expensive. Even though gas fees have come down a fair amount, they're still fairly expensive when you compare them to other NFT platforms and other NFT chains like Solana, like Avalanche. So a lot of these L2 or layer 2 options will decrease the price of this sort of stuff. And this is what Loopring is doing. So you can get early access. I had a look at this website over here before we started recording today. I did not see a place to set up your username or make deposits or anything. Now, this might just be because I'm living in Taiwan. If you were living in America, maybe this is something for you to consider. But yeah, Loopring, great. I think GameStop is going to do well because GameStop is a well-known name, very much for people my age and younger as well. Though I would say people in their 20s probably don't have the nostalgia factor when it comes to GameStop. But if they do get a lot of cool gaming NFTs, now this is the other side of the coin, is because lots of people have seen the reception from gamers when it comes to NFTs. So if GameStop can figure out a way around that to keep gamers happy and come up with some cool gaming NFTs, I would love a Shadow of Mordor NFT, or I'd love a Battlefield NFT, something like that. I'd pay money for that. Why not? Okay, and let's move on to Aave. So the headline is from the Defiant, right? Anchor Leapfrogs Aave as the top DeFi lending protocol with 14 billion in TVL. Stablecoin yield project shrugs off worries about sustainability. So again, you've probably seen the highlights about this. We were talking about this in Moon as well, is that Anchor protocol gives you a pretty decent almost 20% APY of your stablecoin. But this news itself, right, from 4 days ago says, despite the sort of worries about Anchor's TVL is going up and up. $14 billion has overtaken Aave, which is highly impressive. So the protocol sits behind Curve's 20 billion and Lido's 17 billion. So Curve 20 billion in terms of TVL locked. Okay, Anchor has now surpassed almost all of Ethereum's blue chip DeFi assets. Aave, Uniswap, and Compound. That is impressive. So this talks about the PEG and UST. That is not the point of today's episode. Today we're talking about Aave as well. So I think Aave is working on a few things, right? Aave version 3. There is a bunch of other news. I looked at Aave's news for today. I couldn't find anything beyond this news that was very relevant to the time period, because when I do this podcast and video, I try to find news that is relevant for you guys. Let's keep going. So again, you can check this out yourself, have a look at the article from the Defiant. Interesting. And let's move on to Curve. So if you watched or listened to the last episode, Andre Cronje, one of the very sort of famous developers in the crypto space, is leaving or has already left. So when he left, something like 25 projects were like, okay, what are they going to do? So somebody mirrored the sort of Curve incentives website, a very famous website, and it's mirrored here. Now, after that was mirrored, so when you mirror a site, you make a copy of a site and you put it somewhere else. Right? Now, just because you mirrored it doesn't mean that it's going to continue working. It's just the site exists, right? What happened was, like, Convex Finance, right, the guys who are doing the incentives on the original site, yes, we will continue to do this on the mirror site. So great for people, great for the whole ecosystem itself. Good for Curve, good for people who are our DeFi token holders, of course. And let's keep going and talk about Uniswap. So Uniswap is one of the biggest dexes in Ethereum. It says Uniswap, the if and but of development activity driving Uni to $18.44. Again, not financial advice. A crypto market analytics platform recently reported that Uniswap is the most developed project. If you're not familiar, GitHub is the place where a lot of programming projects go. You can find source code there. You can find sort of stuff being developed. In fact, its development activity was found to be almost 3 times that of Solana, Polkadot, Kusama, and Cardano, falling closely in 3rd, 4th, and 5th positions respectively. So this is very interesting, right? I would imagine this is the number of total commits to GitHub. So, and you can see Uniswap with 1,130, Solana 409, Polkadot 370, Kusama 370. So just because something is being developed doesn't mean it's great or fantastic or something like that. But what it does mean, generally speaking, right, is if something is being developed, is it's being continuously worked on, that means people are involved. And when people are involved, you have expectations for the ecosystem or the project or the DEX, as Uniswap is. Even though Uniswap doesn't have anything particularly new going on in its ecosystem, perhaps being the biggest decentralized exchange is enough to justify the need for regular development. I think this is very true. Furthermore, Uniswap's closest competitor, Curve and SushiSwap, have registered figures of only 3.8 billion and 3 billion in trading volume, respectively. Okay. So this is interesting, and I don't know why I can't see the top of this graph over here, but this shows the volume of there. Okay. The what and ifs and buts of Unis network, right? Stable volume. This shows correlation to BTC, and this is it. So it's good. I think Uniswap launched version 3, and we've talked about that on the podcast as well. Though I think when you're really big, it's very hard to come up with continuous improvements to keep people in your ecosystem. Of course, lots of people are going to be in there because you are the largest sort of person. Just like I always bring the Amazon comparison up because I didn't have Amazon for a long time, and it is still coming to Taiwan. It is still like the major whale, and no matter how bad Amazon and how bad some of its practices are, people are always going to use it. Uniswap is the same, and that's good for them that they are highly developed. Let's keep going. So Chainlink launches startup program to provide blockchain resources to early projects, right? Chainlink aims to support startups to help create a lasting Web3 ecosystem. So I have found a video for you guys today. Please watch and enjoy. It is roughly 3 minutes. If you're not interested in the video, you can skip forward 3 minutes in time.
Hello, my name is David Post, Managing Director for Corporate Development and Strategy at Chainlink Labs.
Hey everybody, Lauren Halstead here from Chainlink Labs. Extremely excited to be here today to announce a brand new program that we'll be rolling out. Startup with Chainlink.
We've talked to hundreds of founders in our space over the past year, and one common theme that keeps on coming up.
That's extremely difficult to start a startup in this space. So that's why we created this program, to connect you to the founders and resources you need to succeed.
So everybody tries to reinvent the process every time they launch a new blockchain or crypto startup. Now, this doesn't make a lot of sense to me because I think there's a blueprint for how you effectively launch a crypto startup that's repeatable and that's scalable over time.
Whether it's a play to earn game or a DeFi protocol, it doesn't matter. We're here to help.
One of the primary differences between Web 2 and Web 3 startups is that Web 3 startups have an initial phase in their growth that's the same. In other words, everybody's first step in their crypto project is to try to get to a public launch. Now, we really want to launch Startup with Chainlink to demystify the process of launching a crypto and blockchain startup and really help founders get the resources and information they need to much more effectively and smoothly navigate the launch process. Startup with Chainlink is going to be, I think, the industry's best global community for startups working within our industry. And the way that we're going to get there is by providing a lot of benefits to all projects that are part of the community. So everyone's going to get access to best practices materials. You're going to have a lot of interactions with peer companies undergoing the exact same challenges and situations as you're currently facing. Of course, there'll be presentations by industry luminaries, business leaders, technology leaders. For the top projects in the community, there'll be a lot of additional benefits. So if you're one of the top 5% of projects accepted into the community, you'll get help from me and my team on thinking through things like fundraising, product design, hiring. We're also going to have a great pool of advisors that we can potentially connect you with, and also introductions to top tier VCs who we think can really help you grow and scale your project. So I'm really excited about this because the industry has given a lot to Chainlink Labs and the Chainlink network, and this is really a way for us to give back. If the industry grows, then we grow as a company and we grow as a network. And that's really exciting to us. And this Startup with Chainlink program is our way of helping founders grow, improve, and thrive. So we hope you will come join our community. It's going to be very supportive. It's going to be very informative. And I think it's going to be very valuable to all involved. So you can apply on the Chainlink Labs website. We'd love to hear from you, learn more about your project. And I'm personally really looking forward to seeing all the great ideas and projects that come through the program and getting to know founders and really working together to make a difference in building projects that matter both for the teams and I think for the industry and the world at large.
So what are you waiting for? Push apply today and get ready to be connected to the best network of people in the Web3 space possible.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Chainlink Labs recently announced a program, right? So if you watch the video, you already know what happens, but basically you need resources, you need advice. That's why around the world there are these combinated programs. There's different sort of advisory services and stuff. So if you're a startup, you can get someone to help you, or you can pitch to somebody. You guys have probably seen the show Shark Tank, right? Shark Tank is very famous for people going in there with established businesses or ideas and saying, hey, this is my idea, give me X amount of money. This is what Chainlink is doing. Well, they're not doing the same thing like Shark Tank, but they are providing resources for people who are doing startups in the crypto space. I think that's fantastic. When you're a big company as Chainlink or other companies, right, you need to invest in your own ecosystem. Just the general crypto sphere succeed in the future, it's also going to help your own ecosystem succeed in the future. So I can imagine as Chainlink, you're going to encourage people to use Oracle services, to use decentralized oracles, and that will sort of spur Chainlink adoption at the same time. Additionally, a program to aid startups can help projects focus on creating new designs rather than inventing existing ones. Again, crypto has tons of copies. Like you always hear blah blah finance has started. We're going to talk about another finance project later on in the show as well. So that's cool. That's good for Chainlink. And let's move on. So we're going to talk about AMP. So it says AMP to utilize Frax as a service from Ondo Finance. AMP has joined Frax as a service to establish a brand new $20 million Frax AMP liquidity pool on Uniswap by utilizing Ondo Finance vaults. This will be the deepest AMP liquidity pool on any DEX. AMP will provide 10 million worth of AMP to the Ondo vault, while Frax providing the stablecoin side of the pair. So if you didn't know, Frax offers a stablecoin. So AMP is a universal collateral token. If you don't know what AMP is, I would encourage you to visit their website or listen to past episodes of the podcast. So what is Frax as a service? So FAAS, right, is offering Frax and Ondo to make it possible for projects to increase liquidity in their native tokens on decentralized exchanges by providing a liquidity themselves. With FAAS, a project deposits its token into an Ondo liquidity vault with a flexible duration. Ondo and Frax match those deposits with an equivalent amount of Frax to form a liquidity pair. In exchange for providing Frax, the Frax DAO receives a fixed 5% return on its provided liquidity. Ondo provides several advantages over existing liquidity solutions. With Ondo, token issuers earn trading fees and rewards which reduce or even negate impermanent loss risk and the cost of capital. With small adjustments, Ondo vaults are well suited to facilitating direct listings, establishing the first liquidity for a token. Direct listings can even replace or complement IDOs. Convex Finance will provide 10 million of Frax and invest that into an Ondo tranche pool. AMP will invest 10 million of AMP into the variable tranche pool. The Ondo vault will then pair the assets together to create a Frax AMP liquidity pool. Total LP 20 million on Uniswap version 2. So very interesting. If you're an AMP fan, right? Good news for AMP. If you're a Frax person or an Ondo person, it's all good as well. So we're almost done with today's episode. I hope you are enjoying it. We have another piece of news. This is Maker. They do a bi-weekly update, and today's bi-weekly update has got lots of interesting news. This is via the Twitter site, and you can have a look at that on Twitter as well. So this is DAI supply fell 1.5% to 9.67 billion, still 17.76 billion in TVL. All right, the Maker protocol said hi to one new collateral. Curve finances staked ETH and ETH LP. Okay, that's cool. The Aave D3M, I'm not sure what D3M is, reached its limit of 300 million DAI. Okay, and that's that. The protocol engineering co-unit posted a Maker improvement proposal to enable the first L2 to L1 fast withdrawals implementation. That's cool. The Stocknet engineering co-unit published a proposal risk parameters for the Stocknet DAI bridge, which includes a 5 million DAI limit for the bridge contract. And it says, hey, Delvinity friends, how's the road to ETH Amsterdam going? A MIP with the purpose of allocating DAI for the Maker DAO event in Ethereum Amsterdam has posted. Ooh, cool. So I guess if you're going to be in Amsterdam, that's an event to attend. Aggressive growth strategy is one of the most important discussions happening right now. These people came up with this idea that it aims to raise capital and then take more risks to make a Maker grow faster. That's interesting, right? 10 people in these uncertain times with Ukraine, with inflation, people want to avoid risks, but I guess Makers are going for a somewhat risky strategy. I see the next phase of DeFi. I think we covered this before. Last updates on the TUSD. Huntingdon Valley Bank, a US-based chartered bank, has proposed collateral onboarding application to Maker DAO. Oh, that's really cool. Working with a retail bank. E16Z team published a series of token design ideas with the contribution of Luca Prosperi. The utility of the Maker token. All right, this is interesting as well. These are a lot of updates. I would suggest you finish reading this. I don't want to make this a Maker show. And let's move on to today's last piece of news. Now, this is probably, when I was preparing for the show, right? This was the news that sort of excited me the most. This is about the graph, right? And it says basically utilizing the graph. And this guy makes a sort of a big Twitter thread about this. It says, reputation will become one of the biggest future assets for anyone engaging in Web3. On-chain records will lead the way. Any wallet leaves traces that can be examined to verify past activity beyond the obvious use cases of initial NFT mints or token purchases, transactions. Wallet utilization can be translated into reputation profiles via screening all activities. So, as everything on the blockchain is visible unless you're part of one of those very privacy-centered protocols like Raven. So this guy goes on to the idea that in the future, wallets will be reflections of our reputation. Now, like someone like me, you guys know I'm busy, right? I'm involved in a few projects where I should be regularly using my wallet to stake and do stuff, but I am the kind of person when in crypto where I prefer to set it and forget it. So I put stuff there. I come back every few months to check on certain things, which I shouldn't do, but I do that anyway. That could probably reflect on my reputation in the future. It says staking your tokens to secure the protocol of your choice can be interpreted as a positive on-chain behavior, but only if staked directly to the protocol. Staking at centralized exchanges creates no on-chain staking record since tokens are no longer in your custody. Stronger positive interpretations can be made. The more active you become, the more deep you go. Node operator of a decentralized protocol. Pope collector via an active Web3 participation in its name registration. On the flip side, one can also gather reputation harming information from wallets. Aggressive airdrop hunter, abstaining from governance voting, lack of historic on-chain records. So this is the downside. So if this does happen, I can imagine like all the decentralized people, people who want crypto to be centralized, of course, will be very much against this, judging people based on their wallets. But at the same time, this will provide the security layer that I think a lot of governmental regulation requires, that you want to know what kind of person is this person. So it's interesting. And I think for me as well, and for people who are mining, miners would have a good reputation, maybe, as far as crypto is concerned, because you are contributing to decentralizing the network when it comes to Ethereum. So anyway, guys, this is it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's fun as always. Things are looking good when it comes to our tokens. The market is looking up. This week, I will have an interview I did last week with a guy named John Lester. He used to work at Mass General before he dove into the crypto space. He used to go to MIT as well. He's a very well educated, very well spoken when it comes to crypto. He said an interesting thing as well is that when he started into crypto, they created the idea of staking before staking even existed. So I think you guys will enjoy the interview. He's a fantastic speaker, very energetic, very much like Jesse last week. A lot of the stuff is not time sensitive, so that is why I'm airing it this week. And if you are interested, as usual, please contact me via social media or Ramon's social media, and we'd love to have you on the show. Don't forget to follow us on your podcast app of choice, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and we will talk to you guys later.